Live from Muscle Cat Studio, it's the Muscle Cat Sports Show with your host, Curtis DeBoy.
Hello everybody on the internet, it is the Muscle Cat Sports Show, the very first time that we are live. Our drinking bird's done his job, look at that, well done. I was going to get an actual drinking bird, but ran out of time, forgot, so I thought, well, I can use the internet for that. Speaking of using the internet, you can get in touch. This is an international sports show. Sure, we'll start with a lot of people from Australia, I'll bet, but one day, hopefully, we get people from all over the place. We had in our Saudi Arabian local call in one of our test shows, Jimbo. That was exciting. But if you want to get involved, in the description of this video that you're watching right now, there is a link, Video Ninja. Click that link. It's like an easy version of Zoom. You don't have to sign in. You just write your name, allow permission for the camera. You can do it on your phone, and Jimbo will put you in the waiting room, and you'll be here to talk sport with us. Thank you for joining us. It's very exciting. Jimbo, first night nerves. How are they going?
Steady as a rock.
You did, yeah. You look calm. You didn't look calm pre-show. There are a couple of scary moments where I saw grave danger go across your face, and I thought, oh no, what's going on?
Yeah, different vibe being live all of a sudden.
Yeah. Give it a couple of minutes, you'll be all right.
That's it.
But what happened? YouTube signed us out into another channel, and then we couldn't get back.
Always something new last minute.
And it always comes after you jokingly say, nothing can possibly go wrong.
Nothing can go wrong.
Yeah. But look, we got plenty on tonight. We have had a big weekend of sport. Every weekend is a big weekend of sport. We had the Bathurst 1000. After I had lamented last week on the Thursday show of the Muscle Cat Sports Show, I lamented Bathurst and said it's not what it used to be and we want action, we want drama. Well, it delivered. All it took was a little bit of rain. I'm sure we'll have a couple of guys talking to us about that tonight. There's some stuff happening in the golf world. There's a World Cup qualifiers with the Euros. There's the MLB playoffs, which there was a crazy game last week. The Mariners and the Tigers went to 15 innings. It was the sixth longest playoff game in history. The Mariners advanced, and now they're through to the championship round. So there's only 4 teams left. We can go through that. That was the longest game in playoff history, by the way, is also the Mariners. They played that 3 years ago, and that was an 18 innings game, and they lost that 1-0. So the fans stuck around for 17 and a half innings and didn't see a run until the very, very end. But Jimbo, how's your week been? I mean, I know you've been getting deep in tech, but have you been up to anything? I know you went camping. Anything else going on?
Yeah, just out camping. I'm in a 8-ball league. We had our finals on.
Oh, yeah. How'd that go? That didn't go well?
Well, we made it to the first round and then, lost two straight games to finish, I think, 5th or 6th. But
so wait, you had the double chance? It's like footy finals,
yeah,
right?
Footy finals, top 8 go through the finals, and then top 4 get a double chance, basically. So we needed to win our first game, and then we'd go through to the top 4. And if we lost the first game, we play again for our second chance to go in the top 4. And we lost them both.
Oh, straight sets.
Straight sets.
So you're done. You got your Sunday back.
We're out. Yeah, so I got my Sunday free.
Oh, commiserations.
That's it.
That was a live stream too, wasn't it? High pressure
That
event?
was, yeah.
I tuned in for a bit.
Quite different vibes when I'm not seeing it or thinking behind it or running it or changing cameras.
Yeah. Much more relaxing.
That's it.
You had your little special glove on. What does the little special glove do when you're playing pool?
Reduces friction is the fancy terminology.
Okay.
Yeah, just consistency.
Okay. Does everyone wear one of those special little gloves?
More wear them than don't.
Really? Okay. Is it like are you a mad dog if you're going without a glove?
Just raw dog it.
Just raw dogging
in
the
summer,
tables.
it definitely makes a difference because you just get sticky. It's not slipping as well.
This is sounding weird. This is getting weird. Can
get
you
off
ask me what I've been up to, please?
Yeah,
so
what have you been up to?
Well, for the first time in, I would say, 15 years, I went to the basketball. I watched the 36ers play against the Tasmanian Jack Jumpers. What did you think they were called?
Jack Jumpers.
You thought
I thought they were the
Jumbucks?
The Jumbucks.
The Proton Jumbucks. Yeah, it was a good game. I got to say, I'm not a huge basketball guy. I mean, I haven't been in 15 years. That's probably a little bit of a symbol. But friend of the Outback Quarterback NFL show, Sammy, is in town. He's moved back, so we've been hanging out a bit, and we decided to go along.
Nice.
And it was a great game. 36ers won. It was good. But there was one thing that really caught my attention and the enthusiasm of the entire crowd. There were 9,000 people there. It was school holidays. It was a good night. But it's the greatest marketing ploy I have ever seen, and it's done by Hungry Jacks. So they have a thing where when the opposition team, so Tasmania in this case, when they get 2 free throws, so foul, 2 free throws, if they miss both of them, the whole crowd gets a free burger from the drive-thru on the way home. So you can use a code if you're in the crowd and you can go and collect a free hamburger. And I have never seen a crowd get behind a collective cause like this. The energy was insane. So I reckon 12 times throughout the night, the jack jumpers went to the free throw line.
Yeah.
And a few times they missed the first one, energy rose, and every time they made the second one. So for 3.5 quarters, the crowd was up and then flattened, no burgers, right? And the kids were almost in tears. They had like these cutouts trying to put off the Tasmanian
Nobody's
players.
there for the game, they're just there for the burgers.
Oh, mate, I gave up on the game halfway through. I just wanted a burger. And I changed my diet this week, and I was going to go off of my diet just for that free burger from the errors of the Tasmanian jack jumpers. Anyway.
You guys around, you going to see the burger competition this weekend? Was that at the basketball game?
Yeah, it's at the entertainment
Got to put
centre.
up the basketball, like watch the burger
Yeah,
competition.
gee, those 10 guys on the court are annoying. I'm just trying to find out if I win a burger. So with 8 seconds to go, the 36ers had already wrapped up the game. The players were thinking about what they're doing tonight. And there was one final moment, one final foul. And I wonder whether the 36ers players did it deliberately
And
to
we're
give
in a
the crowd
blowout
a
at
chance.
this point. So
They're up by 15 points.
That's what I was going to say
Game
before.
over.
Surely in a blowout, do the good thing.
Yeah, I don't know whether that's allowed under league rules, give the people a burger with a deliberate foul, but...
Well, Hungry Jacks might frown upon it.
No, Hungry Jacks won't frown upon this because what occurred was incredible. Goes to the free throw line, first one, bounce, falls out.
Ooh,
all right.
Crowd goes wild.
Crowd went crazy. Kids, I've never heard 2,000 kids scream so loud. So it all comes down to this. Last moment, free throw. It goes up. It looks good. Rim, and out. And the crowd goes wild. And everyone gets burgers.
That's cold.
The raw for the win was, I would say, 30% of the raw for the burger. But the greatest thing is everyone is chanting, Hungry Jacks, Hungry Jacks. It's the loudest chant of the night. It's amazing. I'm going to go back just for the energy of that. Anyway, then I was at in the rage cage the other day with the family. Do you know what a rage cage is?
We're talking the old school rage cage from like the 90s and 2000s, like soccer, basketball,
Yeah.
caged in like wild animals.
Multi-sport, yeah.
Hey.
I mean, you can get out. There's normally an opening in them. Yeah, but
There you go.
soccer, basketball,
Yep.
netball in this one. I picked up the ball, had just a random shot, and the whole family starts chanting, Hungry Jacks.
I mean, they are getting every dollar's worth of that marketing campaign.
Well, I missed, but I did not buy them a burger.
Hey.
Yeah. But that was extraordinary, I thought.
cold.
That was extraordinary. Whilst we're waiting for anybody to join in, and by the way, you can click the link in the description to get involved. Let's talk some World Cup qualifiers. Because it's a big time of the year in the football landscape. We're in the UEFA component of the qualifiers for the FIFA World Cup at the moment. Of course, the FIFA World Cup is in Kansas City kid James Womack's home country next year.
That is right.
Yeah, the US. June, July next year, 2026.
Yep.
Hosted by the US, also hosted by Canada and Mexico. So everyone's getting involved. But we're at a stage where there's only 2 or 3 games left in the Euros, the European qualifiers, and a few interesting results. And the most interesting story at the moment is Italy. Now, Jimbo, you are not much of a soccer man. You're not a massive sports guy for some sports, but that's why I thought I'd bring you in for the one and only general sports
Perfect
show.
show for me.
I do. You've never produced anything before this, and you don't follow that much sports. I thought you are the guy for the job.
That's it. Nailing it.
But if I say the Italian football team, would you think they're historically successful or unsuccessful?
I would assume yes.
Yeah, it's
Inventors
synonymous.
of the sport.
Synonymous with Italy. Are
Yep.
they the inventors of the sport?
I don't know.
Sounds
Seems like
good.
it.
I don't think they are, but
Did it originate in Italy? Let's
don't
somebody fact
think
check
so.
that.
I don't think so. Can you fact check it? I should know where soccer was created. Anyway,
That's it.
yes, synonymous with
Yep.
Italy. They're 4-time winners of the World Cup.
Mhm.
Most recently, 2006. They have not even qualified for the World Cup for the last 2. So it's been, as of next year, it'll be 12 years since they've played in a World Cup. Now, that is a national tragedy for a country like Italy. And at the moment, they are on a knife's edge because they are in a group with Norway, and Norway have a guy called Erling Haaland who scored another hat-trick on the weekend in a 5-0 victory. The Italians beat Estonia 3-1, but that's not enough to close the gap. There's only a couple of games left. They're 6 points behind Norway. And with goal difference and all that sort of stuff, Norway is going to qualify automatically because the way that it works in the European qualification is there's 14 groups. If you come first in your group, you're straight through to the World Cup. If you come second in your group, which is where Italy are at the moment, you have to go through the playoff phases. And how have they missed the last 2 World Cups? In the playoff phases. So there are some very, very nervous Italian football fans at the moment. And I'm not going to say the rest of the world's rejoicing in this discomfort, but, it's entertaining.
That's it. On that note, we have our first caller of the show.
Oh, who have we got, Jimbo?
It looks like we've got Hawley.
Oh, this is a momentous occasion and nobody else but Chris Hall.
G'day, fellas.
Hey, how are you, man? My co-host of the Outback QB.
Listener, first time caller.
Long-time listener being 11 minutes.
That's it.
For people who don't know Chris, he is one of my co-hosts, him and Matt Maidman, Chris Hall known as Hawley, Matthew Bateman known as Doss, on the show that started all of this, the Outback Quarterback Podcast. We've been doing that for almost 4 years, Hawley, and you're a proud Patriots fan. Is that what you're ringing in for today?
No, I'd actually like to talk some cricket, Curtis, if that's
Let's do it.
Yeah, because I know a guy who spent many thousands of dollars to buy some tickets for the Adelaide Test match this Saturday for the Ashes.
Yep.
And he's starting to get a little bit concerned that it might not make it to a fourth day.
So it starts on the Wednesday?
Starts on the Wednesday.
Yep.
It is a day Test match. So there's that. Pat Cummins is potentially out.
Yep.
But that means we'll see Scott Boland, correct?
He could take 6 for 3 in the matter of
which,
4 overs.
Which is my other worry. We might win before the Saturday. But I'm thinking, will we get to the Saturday, firstly? What will our batting lineup look like?
Yep.
I think our bowling lineup is fairly obvious.
Yeah,
what will our batting lineup look like? Because Marnus is all of a sudden in form, isn't he?
Yeah, Marnus has turned it on. So the bowling lineup, let's address that first. We know Pat Cummins even came out and said today that he's not going to play the first test. I mean, he said it's looking unlikely. We know his stress fracture in his back, he's not going to play. He might miss the whole series. It could be that serious. And to think that he re-aggravated that playing against the West Indies, Hawley, that's a needless injury ahead of the Ashes. But anyway, so it'll be Hazelwood, it'll be Boland, it'll be Mitch Starc, and it'll be Nathan Lyon. So that's our bowling. As for the batting, I mean, Khawaja will open, right? He's almost 39 in the Ashes, but he's in decent form. He'll open. Who goes alongside him? Labuschagne got dropped for the one-day internationals, and then the very same day scores a century in a domestic one-dayer. Renshaw's been brought in for it. I think it might be Renshaw. I mean, there's other guys in the mix as well. Jake Weatherald has been the top scorer in Sheffield Shield for the last 12 months. But I think Renshaw is the guy. Is that what you're thinking?
Oh, he probably is. I hope it's Jake Weatherald, to be honest. He's been in such good form, and we've seen it with Australian batsmen in the past. You know, in the heyday when you had Hussey, Martin, Lehman making thousands and thousands of runs in the Sheffield Shield.
Yep.
They finally get their chance, and they play really, really well. I'd love to see Jake Weatherald being given that chance. If not, you know, Adelaide Test match would be brilliant. But give him 3 or 4 Test match or 3 or 4 innings at least to actually have a crack. I don't hate the Marnus addition. I think he's been out of form for 2 years, but now he's gone back and he said, "All right, I'll bat myself back into form, and you have to select me." If he's hit, what does he hit? 4 centuries in a row?
Yeah, he's knocking down the door. I mean, he scored 160 in the Sheffield Shield and then 105. That's just the start of this. Well, that's just the last 2 weeks.
Yeah. So somewhat of Marnus's caliber, what we've seen before at international level, if he's hitting those kind of runs, you can't not play him, can you?
Yeah, I don't know. It's like you said, it has been a 2-year stretch, a very lean stretch for Marnus. And are we talking him opening as well? Because he's not always.
I don't think he's an opener.
Well,
I'd love to see Jake Weatherald open, and then do we see? And then it's Steve Smith has to be there. Marnus is there. Obviously, Alex Carey will play. Trav Head will play.
Yeah,
that's
well,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's
Green is probably 7.
An all rounder. That might be how it looks.
Yeah, but Weatherald, I mean, that is a good story. So he played for South Australia for so long, was really solid without being elite. Went to Tasmania for different opportunity. Hardly got picked in his first year there in the 23-24 season. Then last year he gets picked for every game and becomes the top scorer in Sheffield Shield. And then in the first game for Tassie last week, he scored 2 50s. So he's in form as well.
He's in form.
The other names, Marcus Harris, we keep hearing, but he's had 14 Test matches, averaged 25. He scored a 50 last week, but I don't think he's the guy. Nathan McSweeney, I think, unfortunately, from SA has squandered his chance in his 2 games last year and didn't score last week either. And the hardest one to evaluate is Sam Konstas.
No, he's not in.
No, he's not in. He can't be, can he?
He doesn't make runs. He's exciting, but he doesn't make runs. We want people who make runs.
I just want to see him recapture the magic of that one innings where we thought we had the batting god, the best player to ever play the game, when he was ramping Jasprit Bumrah and has not hit a single run since.
It was very impressive. And maybe he's the new age, which actually brings me to my second question. I don't know how many callers you have on the line.
We do have one more queued up, but
you have one more. I'll be very quick then. Jim Bob, retirees. This might be the last Ashes we see of Usman.
Yep.
Maybe Mitch Starc. Hazelwood.
Maybe.
Are we talking? We might have 3 or 4 guys retire at the end of these Ashes.
He's an interesting one. Lion? How long does Lion go?
Lion would have to be close.
Yeah, I mean, he stated recently that he wants to win an Ashes series in England, so he's holding on for at least two more years in his mind. Yeah, I think you're right. I reckon Hazelwood might keep going. I think Stark has got to be very close. I'm amazed he's still producing what he is. Mitch Stark. It's been an incredible career.
What about Curtis? What about Steve Smith?
Yeah. I don't want to confront it because I love Smudger, but I think it might be it. But we have to enjoy this. You know, we get so enamored with young talent. We're so obsessed with that one innings from Sam Konstas that sometimes we ignore what's right in front of us. You know this with Brady, right? I know you appreciated him at the time, but we look back and realize he was even greater in hindsight. So let's just enjoy Steve Smith while we have him. And I think Smith versus Root will be one more epic clash. I don't think we'll see that again.
And I'm going to enjoy it Saturday in Adelaide.
You were the guy who bought the tickets, weren't you?
I was the guy that bought the tickets.
How much did you spend?
6,500. That's on 10
Where are you
tickets,
sitting?
though.
On the pitch?
Oh, it's a box. That's 10 tickets.
Wow.
Yeah, well, I do this. I actually do another podcast, and they paid me really, really well this year. So that actually covered half of one of the tickets.
They would if you sent in the invoice, man. You got 2 invoices pending. You're getting double pay now. All right. Thank you, Hawley. Appreciate you ringing in, man. Great to chat with you. See you, mate. Very good. I'm glad we talked Ashes. He's a good man, Hawley. I didn't know he was going to call in until very, very late on in the piece. So that's nice of him to do that. 39 sleeps till the Ashes. I can't wait. I mean, there's intrigue on the English side as well. If we get anybody else calling in about the Ashes later on, we might talk the English side or maybe flick through that squad at some point. But we've got someone else on the line, Jim.
All right, next caller. We've got Gaz on the line.
Gaz, all the way from, look at this. That's an intimidating profile you got there, Gaz. All the way from Melbourne. How are you, my friend?
I'm going very well, Curtis. How are you, mate?
Very well, very well.
Excellent.
What would you like? Oh, you've got a bit of a Kermit the Frog technical glitch going on there. Is that all right, Jimbo?
Yes, yep.
All right, keep going, Gaz.
Very good. Look, long-time listener, first-time caller. Just wanted to know if I get a prize for being the first interstate caller online.
Yeah. I mean, we've got plenty of stuff. We've got sponsors from other shows. We've got Coast and Smoke rubs. I'll send you a barbecue rub from Coast and Smoke, Gaz. How about that? Just one of those in the mail.
Very nice.
All right.
Very nice. Beautiful.
Done.
Look, first of all, before we even get started, can I just do a real quick shout out just to the guys from Outback Quarterback? Love the show. If anyone's listening, get on, subscribe, and also to the Suburban Brew as well. Apparently, fantastic drop. So,
yeah.
Was that enough?
Perfect. I'll pay you more than that Coast and Smoke stuff afterwards, Gaz.
Excellent.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Easy done. Now that Hawley's saving you a bit of money, you can maybe put a bit in my back pocket. All good.
Perfect. I'll get you on board.
Beautiful, mate. I love it. I just wanted to talk a little bit of NFL if I could, mate.
Absolutely.
Just wanted to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles. The last 7-8 months, it's been sitting there basking in the glory of Super Bowl champions and look forward to the season. We get underway, 4 straight wins. I'm thinking, here we go. Looks like we're going to be defending our championship.
Yep.
Started to get the passport in order. Thought this is going to be pretty good. After that 4th win, they even downloaded the chat GPT just to get some AI assistance to maybe start speaking to the Minister for War and Finance of how I could maybe swindle a little chip away in February to Levi Stadium next year. And then lo and behold, 2 losses in a row.
Yep.
So, you've been the co-host of Outback Quarterback and one of the gurus in NFL. Just wanted to know, is this going to be, the bubble bursting, or is this just a little minor road bump along the way?
It's a good question, Gaz. We got through there. There's that little bubble that was coming up on an iPhone, I think, in one of the pre-tests as well, Jimbo. It's very bizarre. But we got through it. It's a good question about the Eagles because we talked in the first 4 weeks about, yes, they were winning, but they weren't winning great. They weren't winning particularly well. And this was comparable to the Chiefs from last year. If you remember that, everybody was saying, the Chiefs, they're not the Chiefs of old. Yeah, they keep winning. Some were blaming the referees, or some were blaming luck, and there was certainly some luck in there, but somehow the Chiefs found themselves in the Super Bowl, and then they get smashed by your Philadelphia Eagles. The first 4 weeks felt like that, with Jalen Hurts not really connecting with A.J. Brown, not connecting with Devonta Smith, his star wide receivers. Saquon Barkley, superstar season last year, one of the greatest seasons you'll ever see from a running back last year, 5.8 yards per carry, thousands of yards, just did it every week, highlights left, right, and center. And now he's running at 3.4 yards per carry. So why does that happen? I was talking to Dos. You call me the guru. Matt Maidman, I'm from the Outback QB. He's the guru.
But don't forget that he's a cheesehead as well. So I don't know about that.
He's a what?
He's a cheesehead.
Oh, he is a cheesehead. Yes, yeah, true. So maybe that removes a bit of his guru status.
It does, a little bit.
I think we have a few Packers listening, actually, so I might speak more friendly about them. But he was telling me, and he makes a good point, it's the change in offensive coordinator. You know, you've gone from Kellen Moore to Patullo, and it's not working because they are predictable. They were so good with the RPO, so the run-pass option last year, and for those who don't follow NFL, those are basically plays where the offense decides on the fly, depending on what they see from the defense, they decide on the fly whether they'll pass the ball or run the ball. At the moment, it seems like every other defense can tell immediately whether the Eagles are going to pass it or whether they're going to run it with Barkley. And predictability is the number one killer in NFL football. And somehow they eked out wins in those first 4 weeks, but the last two, they've been exposed. And Philadelphia is a very passionate fan base, Gaz. You know that, even from Australia. And when you start to doubt them when they're winning, you cop a lot. And we copped a little bit online for saying, I'm not sure they're humming, but the realists could see it wasn't quite working. And, 4-2, it's not a disastrous season, but they'll be a playoff team. I have no doubt they'll play playoffs. But, they've got some work to do.
So do I need to get rid of my chat GPT and maybe just think about staying in Australia in February? Or?
Just hold off on the AI-generated script book for purchasing Super Bowl tickets just for a couple of weeks. If they're 4-4, cancel it. If they're 6-2, go again. Thanks, Gaz. We've got another caller lined up, I think. But appreciate you getting involved, mate.
Boys. Love it.
Thanks, Gaz. Good on you, mate. Got another one, Jimbo?
All right. We've got Adam up next from the Central Coast.
Oh, Adam, Central Coast. Okay, that's three different. No, we've got two people. There he is. Oh, it's another cheesehead. How's it going, Adam?
Very well.
He gets dressed up for the occasion. What have you got there? You got the chain. You got the hat. Is that a Jordan Love jersey as well?
Of course.
Well, you're not going to like how I dissed the Packers fans just before, so ignore that. You are welcome on this show, and I'm happy you're here. What do you want to talk about?
Mate, well, I actually, believe it or not, even though dressed like this, I'm actually really interested to talk about Bathurst and how good Bathurst was.
Yep.
It was so cool. I'm not a hardcore Bathurst fan. I like motor racing in general. I don't follow it sort of outrageously, but it was so cool to see some young fellas dicing it in amongst it in the rain.
100%.
It was just so, it's one of those things. And I've got a bit of a sports follow Genesis question. So I was following Mark Winterbottom because he used to race in the DeWalt car.
Yep.
I followed that DeWalt car because Matt Kenseth drove the DeWalt NASCAR car.
Yeah, wow.
So my question is, and it's a general, just overall sort of ambiguous question, is when do we decide who we follow? Is it the car or the jersey or the people?
It's a great question, and I think there was an obvious answer before supercars changed. And when I say before they changed, I mean Holden versus Ford. Your family was Holden or your family was Ford. My family was Holden. My grandpa worked at Holden for many years, so that was a clear allegiance for us. So from 6 years old, I used to go to Malala in South Australia and watch the races there. It was, my dad took me, the whole family. Was some of the greatest weekends of my life. I loved it. I watched Craig Lowndes because he was the young up-and-comer. I was 6 years old. I see a young guy. I go, bang, I want that guy. And then as time went on, I stayed loyal to Holden, but I switched to the Kmart racing team because of one guy, and that was Rick Kelly. He was part of the Holden Young Lions, which came from HRT, where Craig Lowndes was, and he was 18 and just driving the wheels off of his car in Bathurst with Nathan Pretty. And I was 11 years old, 12 years old, watching this guy thinking he's the greatest. So my dad, a couple of years later, drove me all the way to Bathurst, an overnight road trip. It must have been 20 hours in the car. We got there for the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I saw Rick Kelly win Bathurst. I saw Greg Murphy's Lap of the Gods, and I saw Kelly win Bathurst. And since then, I was a loyalist to Kelly for 20 years. But I think back then it was Holden versus Ford. And now, I don't know. I mean, how did you originally start supporting Kenseth in the NASCAR? Was there a reason you chose him?
Oh, it was just the car. I just thought it was a really cool car. And I think in a lot of cases, like like for new NFL people, unless they're friends of a friend, I think
Yeah.
they go, I like the look of that jersey, so
Yeah.
I'm going to follow those guys. Yeah.
Well, it's totally legitimate because if you know nothing about a sport, you want to support something that you're naturally attracted to, right? Or it's either history for you or it's a kit that looks good. Because if you're going to support a team for 40 years and you're going to wear that kit, I mean, you want to look as good as you look in that chair right now, Adam. I mean, look at you. You wouldn't wear anything else, would you?
No, not at all.
100%.
I'm bleak green.
Hey, it was a great race. I think we'll have a couple of guys, or at least one more, call in and talk about Bathurst. But you're exactly right. To see the rain, to see the chaos, to see the young guys going for it, it was everything that I criticised Bathurst for last week. There was no interest there. It all happened yesterday, so it couldn't have been better. We've got a few more guys on the line. Thank you very much for joining, Adam. We'll chat to you soon, mate.
Cheers, bro.
We've got a few on the line, have we, Jimbo?
Yeah, they're piling up. We got three more in the room.
All right, send them in. Who have we got next?
We've got who do we have next? We've got Dylan up next from Adelaide.
Dylan, welcome along. Now, I think I know what this is about. There you are. How are you, mate?
What's going on, mate?
It's all happening, actually. This is...
I can tell. I did not know you knew so much about sport. That is enlightening.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate the compliment. You've got this weird froggy thing going on with your phone too. I don't know what that is. It might be an iPhone or... Are you iPhone or Android, out of curiosity?
iPhone.
Okay, we'll work on that. But
We'll figure it out.
I actually worded you up to come on the show because I wanted to share your story because there's something pretty cool happening. We used to umpire footy together. We hadn't seen each other for maybe 10 years, maybe more. And then I was at the golf course the other day, ready to hack my way around it. And I've got my excuses lined up for my score, if you want to know them, by the way. And then I went into the pro shop and I saw you. I was like, oh, Dylan, how are you, man? Good to see you. And you said, I'm very good. And tell the people why you were so good.
So I just come in after a round. Not my usual golf course that I usually play. And just came into the pro shop to say, hey guys, I just got a hole in one. What's the situation with that? Do I get heaps of free shit or what is it? What happens?
And did you get heaps of free stuff?
No, I didn't.
Oh,
No,
disappointing. Won't play there again.
Exactly. No, Piastri Gully, it's a beautiful course, but
it was good.
A lot of golf courses they will have like a hole in one prize, but they'll tend to only give it out to their members, which is so fair.
Totally.
I've heard stories of like country clubs who have this like hole in one jackpot that builds up over months and months and months, and it gets up to $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, and then a visitor will come in, get a hole in one, and just take the whole pot.
Yeah, okay, I can see why they don't give it to the Dylans of the world. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so fair. Yeah, so they said they're going to get me a little trophy or something, but that's pretty nice of them.
Well,
pretty cool.
The other aspect that's intriguing about this is, if I'm right, this is not your first hole in one in the last couple of months?
That is correct, yeah.
How many?
I've done research.
So you've had two in what, 5 weeks, 6 weeks?
Yeah, it's been about two months, I'd say. Yeah, I got my first one about 2 months ago at my home course on a very busy, packed Saturday morning. Luckily, because I am a member, I did get the jackpot, which was up to about $1,300 or something.
Nice. You can help Holy pay for those tickets to the cricket that he was struggling to pay.
Absolutely. Yeah. Happy to pitch them over. And yeah, like pretty common practice at a golf club is you whack a few $100s on the bar or something, just for all the other members, kind of share it around. Because every time you go to play in the comp at a golf course, you'll pay your $7 comp fee, which goes into the big kitty for the day.
Yep.
And then I don't know if every golf club does this, but ours, you put an extra $1 in, and that just goes into the hole in one kitty, and that just builds up to a maximum, I think, of about $5,000 until someone gets it. And so I got it, and then because everybody is pitching in this $1 every single time they play, it's kind of just a little bit of a nice thing to just give back to all the other members. So. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that's a good system. Can you just do me a favor? Can you lift your phone for me for a second, just to see if that makes any difference? You via AirPods, are you? That's all right. I just want to say one more thing while I've got you, because you are on a journey of trying to get is it a +1 handicap? Is that what you're trying to do? And you're on socials. Yeah. So you're playing or practicing every day, right?
Every single day.
What did you start at?
It depends how far you want to go back. I started playing golf about 4 years ago, and I was off about 35 when I first started.
Wow.
Stock standard kind of first handicap that you have, and then practice pretty hard. came down. I'm off about 3.5 at the moment. Have been as low as 2.6. You know, we're getting close.
Wow.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. So I have a bit of an added benefit that I work at a golf course.
Do you want to
So
give it a
I
plug?
have
You can plug it.
Oh yeah, Mount Osman Golf Club. Come play. It's fantastic. Some of the best views in an Adelaide golf course that you'll see. I'd say like there's a lot of fantastic golf courses in Adelaide. You know, like the big four, Kionga, Glenelg, or whatever. But no one has the views that Mount Osman has. It's really beautiful.
Yep.
You get some nice sunset pictures. It's really blowing up on Instagram, I think.
No, I've heard good things. I was playing with a couple of guys from there last week. Before we let you go, where can people find you? Because you're documenting this on Insta.
Yes. My Instagram is Dylan Wants Golf.
Dylan Wants Golf. All right. Great to chat with you, mate. Thanks for calling in.
You too,
we'll
Curtis.
see you soon. All right. Apologies for the frogginess. Do we any idea what that is, Jimbo?
Oh, some things suggest it could be feedback loops from echoes of hearing the stream from another tab, or if you've got multiple tabs of the chat room.
Oh, yeah. Or probably maybe that's because there's just millions of people listening, and
That's it.
It's
I think we're causing some issues on YouTube. It's really becoming a problem.
Who have we got next?
So up next, we've got Andrew on the line.
Andrew, is this Rolsey?
This is Rolsey.
Rolsey, what's going on, my friend? Well, we can't hear you, Rolsey. We've got radio silence.
How's that?
Yeah, we got you, man.
You got me now.
Let's go.
I'd say he's been playing for 4 years and he's played off 2.
Yeah, it sickens me.
Disgusting.
I'm not going to have him on again. That's not. We got Rolsey back now. I think you're on the line. If you can go again.
They seem to always happen whenever I jump on. What's
That's
that?
true. That's true. That happened in the practice like a month ago. Now go, man.
It's Taylor Swift said it best, right? It's me. I'm
you are the problem.
I look as Muscle Cat Media's resident bat and ball guy. I wanted to just get your opinion, not about baseball, but about the Ashes and cricket season coming up. Because I almost feel like the Australian media is downplaying potentially just how much trouble the Aussies may be in. Like there doesn't seem to be a timeline on Patty Cummins. There's no definite opener. I mean, David Warner came out last week and is basically backing 20-year-old Sam Konstas, which I think we would all like to see. But it's impossible to ignore what Marnus Labuschagne has been doing in Shield cricket, and he was left out of the ODI side. I look at this as going into a baseball season without your ace starting pitcher and without your leadoff hitter. And if the LA Dodgers had gone into a season without Yamamoto and without Shohei Ohtani, there's no way that they're playing in the National League Championship Series at the moment. And look, I know the sports are completely different, but I mean, this is the highlight of cricket once every 4 years in Australia. And I think oftentimes the Australian cricket media has a tendency of saying, no, everything's going to be all right. We just win. We win whenever England comes here. Is what it's been
used
since
to
2011, 2012.
Yeah.
Well, it's been since 2011, 2012 since England has come down here and taken the Ashes away.
Well,
so
that's true.
I know that I can get your honest opinion. Are we worried? Because it seems like everybody else in the Australian sporting media just think it's a lay down there that the Aussies are going to win the Ashes.
Well, I tell you what, I think if you heard the start of the show, Hawley came on, and he's also a Muscle Cat Media man. He does the Outback QB. Rolsey does the Baseball Expats podcast. That's why he uses such beautiful baseball analogies. But I think Muscle Cat Media guys are honest guys, especially when it comes to Ashes cricket, because Hawley was concerned the game might not make it to the 4th day, where he spent $6,500 for tickets, for the reason that Patty Cummins is out, and we don't have the strongest batting lineup. Now, you said Sam Konstas. Hawley and I went through the options earlier on in the show, and I don't want Konstas to play. I would love him to play if he's in good form, but at the moment he's not in good form. He has hardly made a run since he burst onto the scene against India. He made 14-4 in the Sheffield Shield opener last week. To me, at the moment, he doesn't have the technique or the fortitude to hold down a regular spot in Test cricket. So we've got Khawaja, who's almost 39. Renshaw is an option that I said earlier on in the show. Labuschagne, after being dropped from the ODIs, is now showing form. But I think we should be worried about Cummins. I don't think he'll play at all. I think he's going to miss the whole Ashes series. I think they're just playing coy and trying to figure out a way to spin it. The batting lineup is somewhat shaky, but I've got faith in the middle order of Head and Smith. I think we're okay there. That's one part of it. The other part that I wanted to get to tonight, and I don't know if you know much about the English squad, is they're not particularly rock solid at number 3 or at opener either. Ben Duckett, one of their openers, he's playing well. He's averaged mid-high 40s over the last 12 months. He's no problem. He'll score runs, and he scored runs in Australia. Not incredibly, but he's done okay. Zach Crawley is a problem. He's their other opener. I don't know how he's still opening after 60 tests, averaging 31, doesn't score runs in Australia. The other spot that they have an issue, potentially, is number 3. So Ollie Pope, who was this superstar who burst onto the scene 4 or 5 years ago, vice-captain, just had the vice-captaincy taken from him. It's moved to Harry Brook. They're talking maybe Jacob Bethel to bat at 3 in the Ashes.
To me, like, England, from an Australian standpoint, has never been full strength whenever they come out for the Ashes. I mean, and like the England, I think, are the worst at making excuses for themselves. But the mind games have already started because, I mean, Harry Brook, who is quite a young fella, but is quite outspoken, is saying that he believes that this Pat Cummins thing is really going to derail Australia. And where it's interesting for me for the Aussies is, what does that bowling lineup look like? And that's probably where I wanted to get your take, because, I mean, do you keep it simple? Is it Stark, Hazelwood, Boland, Lyon? Or do you gamble on a fourth seamer? Do you shorten the tail? That's where I think things really start to get interesting if Cummins isn't there, because then Steve Smith is going to captain. Steve Smith is a very different captain to what Pat Cummins is. So it's a very different type of test team than what we've seen since Cummins took over the captaincy. And I think there could just be this knock-on effect where everybody thinks, well, it's just going to be this sort of next man up mentality, but I'm not so sure.
Yeah, I think they keep it simple to start with. Hazelwood, Stark, Boland, Lyon. But those 4 bodies, well, Lyon will, but the other 3 bodies might not make it through 5 tests either. So you need to have other guys. There's Brendan Doggett, who's 31, but he's been the best Shield bowler over the last 2 years. He's averaged 21, I think, over the last 2 seasons, which is incredible. You've got Michael Neeser, who's played a couple of tests, but he's 35. He's had a hammy issue, all that sort of stuff. Jai Richardson, Nathan McAndrew, Fergus O'Neill. He's a youngster coming out of Victoria, but is he quick enough over 5 tests? It's not as rock solid as it used to be. And I'll finish with this, Rolsey, because I think we've got other callers on the line, Jimbo. But the foundation of the Ashes wins in the era that I grew up with, and maybe yourself as well, was late 90s, early 1000s. We had an opening pairing that could never be easily dismissed. You know, Langer, Hayden, or Slater, whoever it was, that era was rock solid there, and it was rock solid with our pace attack as well. McGrath, Lee, Gillespie, even Kasparovic, Fleming, those guys coming in occasionally as well. And you're right, they're possibly the 2 areas that we're a little iffy going into this series. So who knows? We'll see if it's all spin.
That's where you don't want to be chopping and changing, right? But test on test on test, right? And Perth and Brisbane maybe don't necessarily seem as stable as I don't think Australia lose in Sydney. I don't think they lose in Melbourne. But I get a sense that everybody feels really comfortable about this Australian summer of cricket, and I'm just not so sure.
Not me. 39 sleeps, Rolsey. Cannot wait. Thanks for joining the show, mate. We'll chat soon.
See you, brother.
Jimbo, who we got?
All right, next up, we have James from the Listen to My Calls podcast.
Oh, James Baldwin, the man himself. Looking always professional with your is it a green screen background? I don't know, but it just looks like you're coming from, I don't know, the middle of an AI simulation, James.
Thank you. It's good to be here from the middle of an AI simulation.
What's going on?
That's how I feel after we both completely dissed supercars last week.
I know, man.
And then we watched, and you to the point where I didn't even start watching it. I had just decided that the last hour would be enough for me for supercars. And so I went to lunch instead, as every good Australian now does.
For shame, James. For shame. I was at least at church. That's why I missed the start of it.
Happy to accept the shame, because realistically, we were wrong.
We were.
And you know what? I'm happy to be proven wrong, because I think it is not only the great thing that we needed from a motorsport point of view as fans in Australia, but I think because it's the race that a lot of the international motorsport community will tune into in one form or another, as my cat does the muscle cat media thing of attacking me. Thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you, Garfield, across the camera. It's a good thing, because we do have excellent racing. Not only that, but we do have excellent young talent. A caller earlier, I think, was talking about how good it was to see the younger talent up the front. And they're absolutely right. People like Cooper Murray, Jaden Ojeda, and of course the fact that it was taken out by a young, tall New Zealander and someone who's been in supercars for 478 years, Garth Tander. So, there's good things on one hand, and I can't believe he's still racing on the other. But then we have someone like Craig Lowndes, who is paired up with Bates, who did a great job of pulling the car out of the gravel a couple of times as well, really leaning into his rally heritage. But yeah, I wanted to come on to say that we were both wrong.
We were so
it's
wrong.
Not a bad thing, but it's the weather. So we can't predict the weather. If it was
That's
dry, Brodie Kostecki likely would have won it, I guess.
I can't recall whether I said this at the start of the show, but it's not often that a race director gets props, but I have to shout out James Taylor and Motorsport Australia and the whole race control team at Supercars for keeping that going, because they could have put it under Supercars for wet weather conditions. They could have ended it under safety car, I should have said. F1 probably would have done that. They would have used all sorts of excuses and put it under safety car, and the fans would have been livid. But they let them race, and boy, did they race. It was late 90s stuff across the top of the mountain, the way that they were rubbing fenders and putting each other off the track and risking penalties and Golding. We saw it, the way that ends. He hits Murray, and he maybe lacked patience in that, but you can see why he went for it. He gets what I thought was a fair 5-second penalty, crosses the line first, wins Bathurst, but of course Payne and Tander were right behind him within 5 seconds to take the win. So it couldn't have had more drama. If you haven't watched it, watch the mini on KO. I mean, it was just an extraordinary race. And if you don't enjoy watching that, then you don't like motorsport, and that's fine. But this is the acid test, I think. My dad, who we spoke about last week, and his long passion for Bathurst that has since waned, he said he's back. It's got him back yesterday, and that was, all it took was some rain and some fog on the mountain. One more name to mention. It'd be remiss of us not to mention Ryan Wood, because that was one hell of a drive from him, and it was heartbreaking, really, in the end, that he has the same. I think it was the same electrical problem that took out his teammate, Chaz Mostert. So close to certainly a Bathurst podium, maybe a Bathurst win. It's not the mountain if there's not heartbreak, but that was one where you looked at, and I don't normally go for the New Zealander in the Aussie race, but gee, he would have been a deserving winner as well as Matthew Payne, and yes, Garth Tander, six-time Bathurst champion, was as well.
Yeah. Look, I think you're right. It's certainly one of those things that for two things. I want to talk about Formula One in a second as well. But,
sure.
We suffer under Sky F1 in this country, thanks to Fox Sports, and they love to apologise for things. And Oscar Piastri on the radio last time out in Singapore said the knob is hard, and Croft said had to apologise to the British audiences who were no doubt either digging into their cup of Yorkshire tea or having a Sunday roast, depending on when they were watching the event.
I'm sure they're all very offended.
And you know what? As they should be, because, God save the king. But Ryan Wood can get out there and say that the fault, of which he didn't exactly know what it was yet, is piss poor by whatever has caused the issue. And the entire Supercars coverage is like, yes, we agree.
Yeah.
And so I think in that instance, it really does show the heart of Australian motorsport, but also how we broadcast that in this country. Massive hats off to Chad Nalon, who was really able to get out there he really brought a lot of energy to the Supercars broadcast, as he does all the time. So Chad, of course, you're watching this, as you said, suffering technical issues because of the millions of people tuning into this on a Monday night instead of watching Australian Story or whatever else is on the other side.
Nothing else is on, James. Shush.
That's true. That's true. But, well done to Bathurst. I think the proof will be in the pudding in terms of how they can keep people watching for the next couple of endurance rounds, coming to Sandown, and then also into the grand final season. The thing I think that I was probably a little overcooked by was the Adelaide, or the ADL shiny safety car. We at least got to see that many times talking about the grand final.
Yes.
And also the entire Triple M crew, like Billy Brownless wearing an Adelaide hat. It made absolutely no sense to me that someone on radio is wearing that merch. But anyway, I'm sure someone can fill me in as to why the PRs made that call. But I think the fact that we are in finals season now and Matt Payne has scored himself a ticket, Enduro Cup, the rest of it, it's a brand new year for Supercars and how they attract fans. So potentially this is a race that is going to draw people in and keep them watching.
100%. I think before we move on to F1, and we'll do it quickly, I just want to say, I think an issue with the grand final concept is that it's manufactured. And when you manufacture a grand final, it's not a grand final. A grand final is something that is the natural conclusion of a sporting competition that's set up to end that way. One team versus the other team. That's what a grand final is. You can call it what you want. If it's the last game out of all of the teams and there's 2 left standing, we know that's the grand final. We don't know that with supercars. It's always been a series. It's a year-long endurance event where points matter across the whole season. And we've seen struggles with golf trying to figure out how they finish their season. We see that with supercars. We see that with all these sports that are now introducing finals. NASCAR as well. I still don't really marry up with that concept of finals there, but is what it is. F1, let's go for 30 seconds of F1, Jim.
Well, just very quickly before that, I think the difference between supercars and F1 is that Brock Feeney, who's currently leading supercars, has 2,328 points.
Don't get me started
and
on that system.
Piastri, who's leading, he's got 336. So maybe they could start with just decreasing the points by 3,000 and going from there, because it's utterly ridiculous to me that we could have that many points.
It's so hard to comprehend. Just simplify it. Anyway.
I can't. No one can.
No, not you. Them.
No sense.
I'm not blaming you.
Point. As a fan, I'm a motorsport person. And I look at a weekend, it's like Brock Feeney has got 17,000 points this weekend. It's like, how? He hasn't started.
If he comes 13th, he might wipe 72 points off the 313-point gap. What the hell are they talking about?
I'm in the back passing out from trying to do the mental maths. I'm like, the hangover and do with the beard and the mental maths. That's me thinking about supercars. Anyway, put supercars in the bin because I won't think about it again until Bathurst next year now. Formula One.
Yeah.
Oscar Piastri leads by 22 points to his teammate Lando Norris. This weekend they're going to Austin, COTA, Circuit of the Americas. Is one of my favorite tracks. Sorry, I'm wiping my face because I have cat hair all over me from 2 cats.
You're nervous to be on, man. It's fine. It's fine.
That's true. It's my first time ever being live. Nice to be here. First time podcaster, long time podcaster. And Formula One, I think the British audiences have sort of been a little bit like, there's no one's interested in the sport or in the championship fight this year. But we've been talking, at least not on the rally podcast that I do, but certainly with Rob offline about just how exciting it is from an Australian point of view to see potentially Oscar Piastri take a championship for the first time since 1980. It's such a long time.
Yeah.
Alan
Jones, if you can believe it, is still the guy.
Yeah, still the guy.
Yep.
We've been robbed with Mark Webber in 2010 and then consistently robbed also of my heart and my feelings with Daniel Ricciardo over the last couple of years. But it's going to be an interesting one this weekend in COTA because there's been a whole bunch of fallout from Singapore for Oscar and the first lap incident between him and Lando Norris. But also the race before in Azerbaijan of him scoring no points whatsoever. So he's got a 22-point lead now. If you win a Formula One race, you get 25 points. So it was a bigger gap before going into Singapore. So it's now Oscar's to sort of crawl back a little bit again. I'm really interested in his headspace going into the weekend because I think we talk about every sport where your head's at, and certainly for Formula One and leading a championship when you've got your teammate right behind you and the outside possibility of Max Verstappen having a really fast race car for the final 6 rounds of the season to try and to catch you up whilst McLaren have stopped focusing on developing this year's car and have looked to next year's car to do it. I'm just interested in your thoughts as a fellow Australian sports fan, what you think of Oscar and also his, I guess, the excitement from the Australian point of view for his championship hopes.
Yeah, very exciting. It's been a great season of F1, especially for Australians. But I think the psychological buffer of having less than a points worth of races, less than a race worth of points, less than 25, it's 22 now. A DNF and a win for Norris gives him the championship lead. So that's an issue. But I think Piastri's good under pressure. I think if there's anything we can say for his first few years in the sport, it's that he is pretty ice cold. And maybe as a result, he's not the most enticing media personality, but on track, he seems to deliver. It is a weird situation with McLaren at the moment with what seems to be infighting. You never know how much to believe, but there's a little bit on track, a little bit off track. They just won their Constructors' Championship back-to-back for the first time since 1991, so that's a great tick. But now they've got this weird sort of internal squabble, and we've seen it in the past with great teams. We've seen it with Hakkinen and Coulthard and those guys all the way back in the 90s and early 2000s. What do you do? What do you do as the team now? And what happens if that gap goes to 15 points rather than 22 points? So fingers crossed for a good result. The one part that you mentioned that's also intriguing is Max Verstappen, because since Christian Horner was given the flick after a very successful but ailing tenure as the team principal, the head of Red Bull, they have become a force again, or at least a very competitive team. Not team, one driver. Tsunoda's not doing anything, but Verstappen, he's won 2 of the last 3 races, has been on the podium all over the place. So 62 points is the gap. That's 2.5 wins with 6 races to go. I wouldn't say he's in it, but he's not out of it. He's not out of it. And I think the greatest result for the sport this week would be a double McLaren DNF and a Verstappen win. I'm not saying that as an Australian. I don't want that.
Ooh.
But imagine a win from Max that closes it to 40 or less points with 5 to go. Then we are on.
It's going to be an interesting rest of the year, I think, with Formula One. Just very quickly to plug my own podcast and therefore
Please.
yours as well. Central European Rally is this weekend. Toyota has absolutely dominated the rally so far this year, the Rally Championship. Seb Ogier, who's got about 4,000 World Championships, more than Garth Tander, and probably better earned in terms of wins because he's actually crossed the line when he's won the championship.
Oh, come on. He earned this one.
I'm just into it. Is leading the championship for the first time. And he's been doing a part-time campaign this year, not even a full-time campaign. So Toyota, on the one hand, have that to be focusing on. And on the other hand, Kalle Rovanperä, who is a multiple back-to-back 2-time champion for the TGR team, has just announced that he is going to be finishing his Rally Championship campaign at the end of this year and moving to Super Formula in Japan to go to single-seaters with the help of Toyota, with then the aim in 2027 to go to Formula 2 to chase Formula One. So he is bucking the trend, I suppose, to try as a young bloke, a young Finn, of course. We know, Valtteri Bottas is still in, Kimi Räikkönen and the rest of them who have done significantly well to get out of rally and move himself into single-seaters. So we're going to be talking about that. We're recording a podcast tomorrow night for Listen to My Calls, and we're going to be diving well into that and our thoughts. That'll be out probably Wednesday around lunchtime. If you're interested in listening to our thoughts about that, we'll throw in some Formula One chat as well.
Listen to My Calls. It is a great pod. James Baldwin is one of 3 incredible hosts. Make sure you listen to that. Thank you, James, for calling in. Always good to chat. We've got someone else ready to go, producer Jim.
Yes, we've got Jack on the line.
Jack, what's going on? How are you, my friend? Oh, it's Jackie Grant.
Oh, let's see if he's got
Can you
audio.
hear us?
G'day, mate. Sorry. Couldn't bloody hear you for a sec, eh?
Nah, all good. How are you, man?
Yeah, I can hear you. Not too bad. I'm in my lovely hotel room in Brisbane.
Oh, what are you, work, pleasure? What's going on there? You don't have to tell us. Actually, we are, okay, work, okay. All above board.
Work. I'm here for training, so.
Oh, very good.
Nothing crazy.
All right. What do you want to talk about on the Muscle Cat Sports Show?
I'm here to talk about how terrible the Saints are, to be honest with you.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. I know we bring that up on the Outback QB every week, but it's hard to avoid, isn't it?
Yeah. It's bloody painful. I get up at 1 o'clock every Monday, Perth time, and it's just pain after pain after pain. But I still do it 6 weeks in. It could be worse. We could be 0-6, I think. And we're showing some signs. I mean, I'm not hating Rattler. So.
Yeah. Yeah, it's sorry, Jimbo, if you can just zoom out, I'll show you the shelf of shame. Now, I don't mean to compound your misery here, Jack, but you know, because you're a loyal listener of the Outback QB. For those who haven't listened to our Outback Quarterback podcast, we've got a thing called the Shelf of Shame where we, every 2 weeks, put the teams up there that don't deserve to have any accolades. And unfortunately, the Saints are on there. A couple will come off. The Panthers will come off tomorrow. But bring Jack back in. You're 1-5. You have had a win. We know that. Rattler has been, as a second-year quarterback, solid without being anything game-changing. So do you see him as the future, or do you look at this as just another wasted year for the Saints that you're going to have to go back to the draft, try and find someone again? I mean, you got Tyler Shuck that you haven't played yet, first-round quarterback. Do you want him to start? What are you thinking?
Oh, look, honestly, I mean, it's my fantasy team name, Shuck Me Dead, because I don't know what we were doing. Because again, like you draft Spencer Rattler, you give him a couple of starts, he has no surrounding cast, like no Olave, no Taysom, no one. And then you draft Tyler Shuck, but we haven't started him. I know it was a QB battle, but what was the point? It was, look, I'm not Kellen Moore. I don't know what he was thinking, but I think we should have taken Jackson Dart when we could have. But what do I know? I'm just some Aussie bloke, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it
mm.
would especially hurt when Dart was available, and we see what he's doing in New York now. They've just had one of the most rousing wins you'll ever see for the Giants, particularly in the last 5 or so years. They've beaten Philadelphia comfortably on Thursday Night Football. But it's more than just the one man, right? Like, you got to have a setup around him. We've seen so many talented quarterbacks go into situations where the team's just not ready for them and they fall apart. And if they have a bad first 1 or 2 years, sometimes they never recover. So maybe there's the argument to say, well, they're not going to start Shuck until they feel they have an O-line or an offense around them that can maybe protect him, that can maybe give him some juice and the ability to produce. And they're just putting Rattler out there for now as the guy that's, he's the fodder while they're figuring things out.
Yeah, that's the thing as well. When you look at our O-line, it's really not that bad. Fuaga, Penning at guard has been surprisingly good. He did have a bad holding call today. Eric McCoy is great as always. And our rookie, Simpkins the third, I believe, has allowed, I think it's something crazy, like 4 pressures, no sacks over a good couple games. And then Kelvin Banks Jr. has been a stud. He was great against Abdul Carter. So the O-line isn't, look, it's not perfect, but it's not the worst. I'm not sure what the missing pieces are. I love Alvin Kamara. It seems he's taken a massive step back, unfortunately. I think we'll see Kendre Miller coming in at some point. They're already splitting snaps. I think it's 65-35, Kamara to Miller.
Well, he's getting on now, Kamara, too. He'd be 30 now, right?
Yeah, he's 30, which he was my second or third round draft pick in fantasy. Again, so I'm a bit like, but yeah, I'm not sure what the issue is. On paper, it's not the worst offense. I mean, Olave and Rashid Shaheed are 2 very solid receivers, but they just can't get it going. I mean, there's trade rumors for both of those guys. Kamara, I don't think Kamara will get traded. He said multiple times to Mickey Loomis, like, you're not sending me anywhere. So I'm not sure. Look, if they get the right draft package, I'm sure he'll leave, but I'm just not sure where we go.
One more thing, and before we wrap up, Jack, I think something else that must hurt is seeing teams in the NFC South start to develop now. I mean, Tampa Bay, so good. They're 5-1. They look like they could be a legitimate Super Bowl contender. The Falcons, yeah, they're up and down, but they're 500 or there and thereabouts. The Carolina Panthers are now 3-3. They've won 3 out of 3 games at home, which who would have thought that it would be a fortress in Carolina? We haven't seen that for a long time, but they had a good win today. So, yeah, man, every NFL fan has been there. I mean, people would tell me I haven't because I'm fairly recent to the NFL and I support the Chiefs. So maybe I can't relate, but I do feel for you, dude. I'm sure it'll turn at some point. I at least hope that the Outback QB podcast gives you some joy once a week.
Oh, it gives me all the joy. It was even better with 2 episodes a week back in, I think that was last year. That was perfect. But
we'll get there,
look,
man.
Again, every sports fan goes through it. I'm just stuck with it on my body forever.
Oh, no. Show us your what's your tat? Show us your tat.
I'll see if I can get it in the camera. It's a bit of a bad angle.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah, I got the Rabbitohs as well. They suck. Pelicans, they suck. I'm 0 for 3. I like Parramatta as well, the Eels. So...
Oh boy.
It is what it is. It's all swings and roundabouts, and that's the beauty of sport, isn't it? When we win a Super Bowl, she'll be right. I'll just never forgive Tom Brady for knocking Drew Brees out of the playoffs.
Yep, I mean that's sport. You're exactly right. You put up with the bad, and the good tastes even sweeter. But thanks, Jack. You've always been a supporter of our shows, mate. I appreciate you calling in on episode 1 of the live stream. We'll chat to you soon, and try not to fall asleep in your training in Brisbane.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. Honestly, awesome to talk to you.
You too, mate. We'll chat soon. All right, Jimbo. Wow, how are we going? It's been an hour, has it? Gee, that flies by when you're just deep chatting sport.
Hour 3. The chat room's finally quiet down for the first time on stream.
All right.
Although we do have a question from the chat from Adam.
Oh,
he kicked back in with another question. So he was asking, Curt, what's your confidence level for the Chiefs versus Lions today?
Chiefs versus Lions today. It's already happened. What does he mean? Does he mean after the game?
Oh, sorry. What was your confidence level?
Oh, what was it? It wasn't great. I put it at a 60-40 Lions winning chance. I know it turned out that the Chiefs got a good win, but I haven't got full faith back in the Kansas City Chiefs yet. Patty Mahomes is playing every second week like he was in 2018, 2019. 3 more touchdowns today. Looked good. A few weeks ago, he had 4 touchdowns and didn't turn the ball over. There's a bit more juice now. Hollywood Brown's getting on the scoreboard with a couple of touchdowns. Travis Kelce was involved today. It's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good. We know the Lions are prone to the odd, I wouldn't say capitulation, but down week. But that normally goes hand in hand with a Jared Goff down week. And he wasn't awful today. He wasn't great, but he wasn't awful. So I didn't think they'd win, Jimbo. But to run away with a 30-17 victory, I'm pretty happy with that.
We also had Michael Evans coming in off the back of that saying, could definitely be worse. Could have been the Jets.
The Jets. The shelf of shame, man. And thanks, Michael, for chipping in with that because they are 0-6. I said last week that the Titans are the worst team in football. I was wrong again. They are not the worst team, although they are awful. The Jets had minus 10 yards on offense, passing. Minus 10 passing yards. Now, that is the worst. That's the worst marker for that stat, minus 10 passing yards, since 1998. Ryan Leaf was the quarterback for the San Diego Chargers in 98, and they went for minus 19 passing yards. So that's 27 years it hasn't been that bad. Justin Fields himself threw, I think it was 6 completions for 45 yards, or 9 completions for 45 yards. He was also sacked 9 times today. He had the same amount of sacks as he had completions, and with the net numbers of the sacks, they were minus 10 in the air. Aaron Glenn's got some real problems. We thought this team would be a lot better. They're an embarrassment, and they're falling apart, and Garrett Wilson was arguing with Aaron Glenn at halftime today. It's just a total mess, and I didn't think it could get worse for the Jets, but it can. Somehow it can. So I don't know if we've got any Jets fans or many that have been listening to the Outback QB podcast lately, but if you have, get in touch. What are the solutions? How do they fix this? I've got no idea. That's NFL. We chatted some Formula One. We chatted some Bathurst. We chatted a little bit of golf. What else have we talked today? We didn't chat about the tennis. Valentin Vachereau, he won the Shanghai Masters. He's ranked 204 in the world. He's the lowest ranked player to ever win an ATP 1000 level tournament. So Shanghai Masters is that. Not only that, he beat his cousin. He beat Novak Djokovic in the semi-final. He's not his cousin. But then he played his cousin in the final on the weekend. So he's set a record for familial achievement. He's the best cousin in the family now, clearly. And he's the lowest ranked player to ever win an ATP 1000 event. We covered the World Cup qualifiers. We've covered the cricket, or at least the Ashes. They tell you what, the Windies were fighting back, at least when I checked before this show. 2 test series. They're playing India in India. India won the first one easily because the Windies are a poor side, let's be frank. They were all over them. The first innings, they declared 5 for 518, the Windies. That was India. Then the Windies scored 248. We thought it was going to be over, an innings and runs win. But in the follow-on, they were 9 for 361. Campbell scored his first century. He scored it with a 6. In his 50th test innings, he just smashes a 6 over mid-on to bring up a century. It's gutsy. Hope scored a century as well. They won't win it, but they've made India bat again, so at least there's some respect there. And the Pakistan versus South Africa, they just kicked off their 2 test series. 378 for Pakistan in the first innings, 2 for 91 when I last checked for South Africa. But that's not on KO. We can't watch that here. I think that's everything I wanted to cover tonight, Jimbo. World Cup qualifiers, the only thing I didn't say is Germany and Northern Ireland. Doesn't normally sound like a blockbuster clash in world football, but that is coming up on Wednesday, and that's an important one because they're level on points in their qualifying group. So Germany they really need to beat Northern Ireland. And then England and Latvia also play on Wednesday. England have won 5 out of 5 so far. They're cruising along. They should win. They're playing in Riga, which can be an intimidating atmosphere, but I'm sure they'll get that done as well. Jimbo, do we have anything else from the people? Anybody else wanting to get involved, or are we all clear for night 1 of Musclecat live stream?
No, it looks like we're all clear. Nobody in the rooms. Everyone's quieted down.
Well, thank you. I don't know how many people watched. That's not your camera angle, Jimbo, or is your? Oh, it's gone down.
Yeah, we switched it up.
Okay, well done. Was that camera the trouble all night?
No, it's more once one kicks out, to kick it back on, I feel like yours will kick out, so just best not to touch anything.
Fair enough. Well, thank you, Jimbo. You did an amazing job under pressure. There's more of this to come. Every Monday, we're going to be doing this live from Musclecat Studios. So you've seen how easy it is and hopefully how welcoming we are. So just next week, click that link, get involved, talk whatever sport you want. It's international sport. Anything international sport, even if it's non-sport related, call up and have a chat. We're more than happy to have you here. Thursday will be the Musclecat Sports Show, the Newsy edition, which is the pre-recorded show behind the bar at the Suburban Brew, which Gaz, our caller, mentioned so kindly before. That's the Thursday show. That's about 15 minutes. That'll be on YouTube as well. So if you haven't already, click subscribe, there's a whole lot more sport to come from this channel. We've got the Outback Quarterback podcast as well. We're recording that tomorrow. That'll be out tomorrow morning. Listen to my calls. We've got World Rally Championship stuff. We've got baseball expats. We've got a whole lot of stuff on Musclecat Media. But for me, live from Musclecat, it's thank you very much for tuning in. And tell your friends, hit subscribe, and we'll see you soon.